Okay, so if you've ever just stared up at the night sky and genuinely wondered if we're truly alone out there, well, you are absolutely not going to want to look away from this one. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into literally one of the most astonishing mysteries in the entire history of astronomy. We're talking about a story that involves the absolute deepest reaches of space, massive radio telescopes, and a signal that completely, utterly defied explanation. Yep, we're talking about the infamous 1977 WOW signal from deep space.
Right off the bat, it forces us to ask this massive question: have we already heard from them? It's kind of a provocative thought, right? It drops us right into the heart of the action, because for decades, humanity has been scanning the cosmos, just waiting for a greeting, a whisper, really any sign of an intelligent alien civilization. But what if the ultimate unsolved anomaly already came and went, leaving us with way more questions than answers?
Let's actually dive right into this agonizingly brief 72-second window. This all happened on August 15th, 1977. For just over a minute, our instruments captured something so incredibly powerful, so distinct, that it felt as though the universe itself had just spoken directly to us. But what exactly did we hear in those 72 seconds?
Well, let's get into Section 1, the 1977 WOW signal.
So, back in the late 70s, astronomers obviously didn't have these sleek, high-resolution digital dashboards. Instead, you had astronomer Jerry Ehman meticulously monitoring these automated paper printouts from the Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University as it slowly swept across the sky. And when Ehman was reviewing the data for that night, he saw this crazy sequence of characters indicating a massive, continuous blast of radio waves. He was literally so shocked, he just grabbed a red pen, circled the sequence, and wrote a simple exclamation right there in the printout: "Wow." And that red ink, well, it gave the anomaly its legendary name.
But why was he so completely floored by this? Well, the signal sat perfectly on the hydrogen 21 centimeter line. If you don't know, this is a very specific radio wavelength at exactly 1420 megahertz. It's emitted by neutral hydrogen, which happens to be the most common element in the universe. Scientists have long considered this the universal frequency for interstellar communication. Think of it like a quiet, cosmic channel where an intelligent alien beacon would likely broadcast just to cut through all the background noise of space. And the WOW signal? It was broadcasting on exactly this channel.
Which brings us to Section 2, Little Green Men.
Now, before we go jumping to conclusions about aliens, we really have to ask ourselves, has the universe fooled us before? And actually, yeah, it has. Back in 1967, a brilliant graduate student named Jocelyn Bell was at Cambridge University, poring over her own data printouts from a radio telescope. She noticed what she called a bit of scruff. A few nights later, boom, the signal reappears in the exact same part of the sky. Several weeks later, after maybe a moment of doubt, the signal prints exactly 5 minutes later than predicted, with this incredibly precise repeating interval of 1.337 seconds. It was so artificially perfect that she jokingly named the source LGM1, which stood for Little Green Men.
But as it turned out, LGM1 wasn't an alien beacon at all. It actually led to the monumental discovery of pulsars. These are rapidly rotating neutron stars that basically sweep a bright beam of radio waves right past Earth. They function just like a massive natural cosmic lighthouse. So what initially looked like the deliberate work of an intelligent alien civilization turned out to be a completely natural, albeit totally extreme, astrophysical event.
All right, let's look at Section 3, Fast Radio Bursts.
Fast forward with me to 2007. Researchers who were combing through archival data unexpectedly stumbled upon another bizarre, unexplained cosmic sound. They found these insanely intense radio bursts lasting just 0.0001 seconds, literally a single millisecond. But in that brief flash, they dump a whole sun's worth of energy into space. When these fast radio bursts, or FRBs, were first discovered, they absolutely sparked wild theories all over again. I mean, could these be alien light sails? Or maybe incredibly dense stars?
Well, it turns out these bursts are often the result of a violently explosive magnetar glitch. Basically, the crust of an ultra-dense star shifts in this titanic starquake. Ultra-dense electrons rearrange themselves, the magnetic field cascades, and a massive, mind-boggling amount of energy is just blasted out in the blink of an eye. So once again, this proved that the universe can naturally produce these mind-bending, explosive signals all on its own.
This perfectly sets up Section 4, the Cosmic Symphony.
See, space is far from a quiet, empty vacuum. By tapping into a monumental 15-year dataset recently published by the Nanograph collaboration, we can see that we are surrounded by a literal cosmic hum. Our planet is constantly being washed over by gravitational waves and plasma waves created by just massive, chaotic forces. We are talking about supermassive black hole binaries orbiting each other, neutron stars slamming together, and the deep underlying background hum of spacetime itself. It is a chaotic, incredibly loud universe out there.
When you actually put it all into perspective, you really start to see the sheer chaotic power of the natural universe. I mean, we've got pulsars creating these continuous, rapid pulses every 1.337 seconds from spinning neutron stars. We have FRBs blasting for roughly 1 millisecond due to those insane magnetar glitches. And then we have massive gravitational waves oscillating over years, sometimes decades, from black hole mergers. It really highlights the sheer power of nature compared to the incredibly faint signals we are trying so hard to capture here on Earth.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, an unsolved cosmic mystery.
So, now armed with a much better understanding of natural astrophysical noise, magnetar glitches, and that wild cosmic hum, let's contrast those phenomena with our 1977 anomaly. Natural events, they have consistent patterns, predictable repetitions, and they can eventually be explained by extreme physics. But the WOW signal? It never repeated, not once. It has a completely unexplained origin, and again, it sat exactly on the hydrogen line, the literal, precise frequency a smart civilization would use. When you contrast our 1977 anomaly with those natural events we've just talked about, you can really see why the WOW signal completely defies natural explanation.
And the really crucial point is this: that specific patch of the sky has been completely, eerily quiet in the radio spectrum ever since, despite decades of searching. With vastly more powerful and sensitive equipment than Jerry Amon had back then, the origin of that 72-second blast of energy remains totally silent. The mystery remains entirely unsolved.
Which, just leaves us staring up into that vast, silent patch of sky. Is someone out there just waiting for us to listen again? It's a question that continues to drive and haunt astronomers today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep looking up and keep asking questions.